Hello folks, and welcome back to the second part of my playthrough of Talisman of Death, a fighting fantasy game book, the second fighting fantasy game book. Is that 2 or 11? 11. The 11th fighting fantasy game book from the original fighting fantasy series that was released in the 80s. If you haven't watched the first playthrough video that I made of this, I'll put a link in the description below and at the top of the screen right about now. I am the Lone Adventurer. Thank you very much for joining me on another adventure. If you enjoy it, please consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel so you can join me on future adventures. Right, so where were we now? We had, as I recall, just fought off a bunch of orcs, including the orc boss or warlord or whatever, and that had convinced all the other orcs to turn tail and leg it because they were that impressed with my fighting prowess. And we were here. We were fighting the orcs on top of a hill. And with the orcs seen off, we decided to head down the side of the hill into a valley that is deep in ferns, and the hope is that we're going to be able to elude some dark elves who were also running to attack me at the same time as the orcs. So we're going to turn to 203 and see if we can evade the elves. When you reach the floor of the valley, you find a pool into which a spring is bubbling. Feeling thirsty after having come so far, you step forward to the pool to drink, where the branches of a gnarled old willow meet the water. Almost immediately, you begin to feel strangely sleepy and realise that you are swaying, about to topple into the pool. Test your luck. Oh goodness, we've got a luck test immediately. So I think we roll 2 dice. If the number is equal to or less than your current luck score, you have been lucky. And once we've done it, regardless of whether we are successful or not, we have to subtract 1 point from the luck score. Okay, so our current luck score is 10. It's already down from an initial score of 11 because we have used it once. So I have to roll 10 or less in order to be lucky on this occasion. 5. Goody goody, so I have been lucky. We take the luck score down to 9, so it's getting gradually more tricky to succeed in luck tests. If you are lucky, turn to 36. Oh, it looks like we've got a fight on our hands. You struggle to overcome the drowsiness and the spell is broken. Looking up, you can see 2 large green eyes staring at you from the trunk of the willow. Before you can step back, you are attacked by the branches of the enraged tree. You must fight the willow weird. So the willow weird has got a skill of 8 and a stamina of 20. Oh, if you make 4 successful attacks, turn to 26. So I don't have to initially kill the weird willow, just have to attack it successfully 4 times. I've said that already, haven't I? Okay, so I'm just looking at my weird little map. To be honest, I'm not convinced that there's any point in this map, but I'm going to keep doing it anyway. Right, so my skill is 7 and the willow weird skill is 8, so actually the willow weird does stand a slightly better chance at fighting me. And I'm on 11 stamina. Now really what I should have done probably is use one of my provisions before the fight. That's what I should have done, but I didn't. Okay, because I'm a beginner, I'm going to let myself have a gimme. I'm going to just allow myself to consume one of these provisions and imagine that I did that before I turn to this page. Just want to remind myself what I get. 4 points of stamina. Okay, so that's going to take me up to 15, which is a little bit less scary. Right, so I'm just looking at my combat sequence here because I haven't quite got my head around it yet. We're going to roll both dice for the creature and add its skill score, and that's the creature's attack strength. 5 plus 8, 13. So the creature's attack strength is 13. I'm going to do the same for myself. Oh, brutal! 2. So my total attack score is low. It's lower than 13. 7, 8, 9. So yeah. So that means I'm going to suffer 2 points of damage. So my stamina score is going to drop down to 13. I could have tried to use my luck to mitigate some of that, but I feel like you don't want to use your luck too early. Okay, creature's attack strength. Oh, that's better. 8, 9, 10, 11. So hopefully I can beat that. Oh, sure I can. 10, 17. So that means my attack strength is higher than the creature's, taking the creature down to 18, and that is my first successful attack. And I only need to do 3 more in order to progress on to something else. Creature's attack strength. 6, 7, 8, 16. That's pretty high. And mine is 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So that's 2 points of damage off me. Okay, and again, creature's attack strength. Oh, that's high. That's high. Maybe this is going to be a very short second video. 9. So a total of 17. Can I beat that? Oh, I thought I was going to then for a second. 6, 7, 14. So that's more damage off me. Okay, so pretty soon I'm going to have to think about using my skill. Sorry, not my skill, my luck, I think. Yeah. Man, I wish I had a higher skill than 7. It's super lame. Right. Monsters, attack strength. 5. So that's 12. And mine. 8. 15. Brill. Okay. It's going to take him down to 16. And I've done 2 successful attacks. Oh, curses. So that's 18. 18. Oh man, not good rolling. Not good rolling today. So that's 18 is the attack strength of the willow weird. Oh man, and 6. 13 is mine. Oh dear. So I'm down to 7 stamina. This is rubbish. Right, come on, willow weird. You need to roll low. 6. So that's 14. Is the attack strength of the willow weird. 5. So that's 9. 16. Okay, so that is another successful attack for me. And I need to do one more, and this might be over. Or maybe, I don't really know, having not played too many of these, I don't really know, maybe it's just going into a second round of combat where things are a bit different. But hopefully this is the end. Right, so 5, that's good. Which means the willow weird has got a total of 13 for an attack strength. And 8, 15 for me. Cool. So I think that means I won. Sorry, my brain just immediately forgot the attack strength of the willow weird, but I think I won. Okay, so that is 4 successful attacks, taking the willow weird down to a stamina of 12. I'm on a stamina of 7, so it was a bit touch and go there. But it does say if you make 4 successful attacks, turn to 26. With a mighty blow, your sword cuts through one of the willow's branches and some sap from the tree falls on your arm. The willow gives a low moan, stops attacking, and pulls its branches back from you. Will you plunge your arm into the pool, turn to 161, or beat a hasty retreat? Okay, so I guess if I plunge my arm into the pool, it's going to wipe off the sap, which I guess is going to have some kind of negative effect. But if I do that, maybe the tree will continue to attack me, having only temporarily stopped. And if I beat a hasty retreat, I'm leaving the sap on my arm, which could have a negative effect. But I don't think I can go into another round of fighting. And I think if I stay here, there's a chance that the tree will continue to fight me. So I'm going to beat a hasty retreat, turning to page 39. You wend your way along the bank of the river that runs west from the spring and leave the ferns behind. The terrain has become a little more open now. Looking back, your heart quickens as you catch sight of one of the dark elves sniffing at your trail. There he is. He moves with a lithe swiftness which would seem graceful if it wasn't for the spiked black armour and deadly expression. While you are watching, he stands up and points in your direction. They are not far behind. You must decide quickly. Will you run along the riverbank, plunge into the river and run along for some distance before scrabbling up the bank, or hide in a clump of bushes? Alright, well, I'm going to very quickly consume some provisions, and I think I'm going to consume 2, taking me down to 7 provisions and giving me an additional 8 stamina, which will take me back up to 15. Now, am I going to hide in the bush, or am I going to keep on going? I guess I might go for the middle option, plunge into the river and run along for some distance before scrabbling up the bank, because I guess these dark elves are good smellers. It says we've caught sight of one of them sniffing at the trail. So running in the river will mean that we can lose the dark elf. He will lose our trail. So let's turn to 253 in order to run in the river. The river winds between the hills. You wade along it, knowing that the dark elves will lose your scent in the water. Ha-ha! After a while, you climb out on the other side of the river and continue on your way. Turn to 311. Cool, so that was the right choice. Sorry, 331. The river flows out of the hills into a wide plain where it turns north. You strike out west along the wild grasslands. Just when you think you have finally lost your pursuers, you notice a group of figures closing fast. Cursing under your breath, you realise that they are onto you again. Doggedly you force yourself on, but the strain takes its toll. Lose 2 stamina points. Man. That hardly seems fair. Just as you are steeling yourself to turn and face your fell adversaries, you see a cloud of dust ahead. You can soon make out a group of 20 horsemen. They wheel their steeds towards you, and the drumming of hooves carries to you over the breeze as they canter in your direction. Seeing this, the elves seem to give up the chase, and fall back, obviously unwilling to encounter the riders. You are thankful to see the back of them and decide to wait for the riders to approach. Hopefully they're good guys. As they get nearer, you can see that this is a band of warrior women clad in chainmail and studded leather armour. Their faces look grim and unwelcoming, bad news, as they wheel around you, forming a close circle. Their captain spurs the horse forward and tersely demands what you are doing here along the edge of the moor. What will you do? Ask them to aid you in your quest? Say you are from another world? Say you are the sole survivor of an ambushed caravan? Pretend that you are deaf and dumb? Demand they escort you to grey guilds on the moor? Oh man. Well, last time I lied, it didn't really help me, did it? Should I tell them about my quest? Are they bad guys? Well, they're enemies of the dark elves, so that means they're slightly less likely to be bad guys. There's no guarantee, but maybe. I'm going to ask them to aid in my quest. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask them to help me. Let's see how that works out, shall we? Turn to 101. The captain and the other members of the patrol start to laugh at you. This is bad news. She throws her head back with her hands on her hips and stares at you. Give me your sword and climb up behind Elvira here. She points to one of the younger women. We must take you back to Grey Guilds. Will you hand your sword to her, turn to 155, or refuse to give it up? Turn to 142. Instinctively, giving my sword to somebody seems like a bad idea. So I think we will turn to 142 and we're going to refuse to give the sword up. That's what's going to happen. At a command from the captain, the circle of horses closes in on you. You draw your sword and manage to wound one of the women before you are attacked from all sides. They are strong fighters and use the flat blades of their swords to stun you. You drop your sword and fall to the ground, lose 2 skill points. Oh man. So I'm down to 5 skill. But luckily I've got my potion of skill, which fully restores that number. I might have to use that quite soon, given how low my skill is. When you acquire another sword, you may restore them. Oh man, so I need to get a sword before I can restore my skill points. There are too many warriors to resist, so you decide to do as you are told for a while and accept a helping hand onto Elvira's horse. She does not look pleased that you are going to sit behind her all the way to Grey Guilds. You console yourself with the thought that at least you are going in the right direction. Turn to 257. Alright, so, it feels like we are progressing slowly but surely through the story. 257. You ride on into the late afternoon, moving from the wilderness to a grey and desolate moor. Ahead you can see the walls of a large city. A salute is given as you approach the huge arched gate in the fortified wall. The captain details half her patrol to remain on guard at the gate. Turning to you, she says, "We are taking you to Horkana. She will want to ask you some questions. Do you want to seize the first opportunity to fight your way out? Turn to 318. Or go quietly and see what happens? 334. I think I'm going to go along with this for the time being. So let's turn to 334. You ride into the City of Learning, Grey Guilds, along a street called Moorgate. Many of the buildings are quite grand, built of light grey stone. You see a mixture of people in the streets. There are some men wearing light blue togas who are sages and professors from the guilds of learning. Other groups of young men and women are carrying books and scrolls. You realise that, unarmed as you are no match for these women and have no alternative but to go with them. Turn to 351. You are taken along Moorgate, past various food and pottery shops, and then down bustling Store Street. They turn right down Guard Street and come to a halt outside a squat grey building. It is the watch house. The patrol dismounts and you are ushered inside. Turn to 78. After a short delay, you are taken into a large office. Inside is a tall, striking, raven-haired woman, dressed in a long black cloak which parts to reveal the polished hilt of a longsword. Her bearing suggests great personal power. She stands and greets you. I am Horkana, High Priestess of the Temple of Fel Crinla, and Marshal of the Watch. You have been telling some unusual stories. She nods, and the guards begin to search you. You try to resist, but are held powerless. The talisman is ripped from its place of concealment and handed to Horkana. She recognises it immediately, and she laughs with rapturous delight. She turns away and says, I am going to the temple. Throw this fool out into the street. You are hustled out, and the door of the watch house slams shut behind you. You have lost the talisman. What will you do? Okay, so the warrior women, to be avoided. Don't trust them, is the lesson I've learnt. So I could go back down Guard Street to Store Street. I could turn down Smith Street, or walk down the Street of Seven Sins. Now I have got some gold. I wonder if I could go to Store Street, could I buy a sword, and then I could fight my way in and get the talisman back somehow. Should we give that a go? Let's go back to Store Street, which is 357. You are now in Store Street. It is crowded with shoppers, but your attention is drawn to a woman in green robes who is looking at you speculatively. Her straight hair is cut fairly short, and she is wearing no ornaments. She crosses the street and asks politely, in a quiet but clear voice, I believe you are a stranger in this city. Who are you, and where have you come from? Will you tell her you are on a holy quest and have crossed the wilderness? Or say that you are just passing through and start to walk briskly on? Well, it seems like this is going to turn into the playthrough of me just being honest and telling everyone who I am. So I think I will tell her I'm on a holy quest and I've crossed the wilderness. So let's turn to 198. You have come across the wilderness. Did you by chance come across a man dressed in green robes similar to my own? He would have carried an oak staff and worn a crown of mistletoe. He would have told you his name. Okay, so I could be honest and say I didn't meet him. I could say his name is Dwithian, or that it is Wodeman. I guess if I give the wrong name, she'll know I'm lying. So maybe I'll just be honest and I'll say I didn't meet him. 226. I guess it's nothing unless I've met that guy, or I guess his name. Ah, it is a long time since we had news. I am a priestess of the All-Mother, the Fountain of Life. The Druids are our friends. I trust you will enjoy your stay in Greyguilds. Goodbye, stranger. She walks on and is soon lost in the crowd. You continue on down Store Street. turn to 130. As you walk along Store Street once more, you notice that the stores are closing. The throng of people hurrying home parts to make way for a large black carriage drawn by 2 black mares. They carry plumed headdresses made of long black feathers. The cloaked coachman stares grimly ahead. You step into the gutter to let the coach pass, and as you do so, the coachman reins in. Inside, you see an empty black coffin, but the name inscribed in silver letters on the lid is your own. The door of the funeral carriage opens and a handsome man with a silver cane steps out. He is dressed in the finest silver satin and sable furs. A storekeeper greets him. He smiles and nods, then turns to you. "I am the envoy of death. I have come for the talisman," he says in a voice of doom. As you prepare to resist, a startling transformation takes place, which seems to be ignored by all around. His magnificent furs turn to rags. Where once blue eyes looked out from a finely featured face, now hollow sockets gaze at you from a blackened and cracked skull. His skeletal hand now grips a tarnished rapier. You realise that no one else can see this transformation. "Give it to me," he says. Will you? Give him the talisman, if you have it, which we don't. Attack him immediately, turn to 271. Deny that you have it, turn to 220. I don't really fancy fighting anyone without a sword. I think it would go very, very badly. So let's deny that I have it, which admittedly I don't. I've got a feeling he's going to attack me anyway, but we can but try. "Lies," it hisses, and lunges at you with its rapier before you can move. A chill numbness spreads from the wound, and you feel as if your lifeblood is being drained away. Lose 1 skill and 2 stamina points. Now you must fight the envoy of death. Each time it strikes you, you must lose 1 skill. That's ridiculous. As well as the normal stamina loss. Fine. Okay. So what have we lost here already? We've lost a skill, so we're down to 4 skill. We're losing 2 stamina points. We're down to 11 stamina points. Okay. So his skill is 8, which is double mine. Could go badly. Could go badly. Right, so let's start. Right, so let's see what the Envoy of Death's attack strength is. 6, 7, 8, so attack strength of 16. And for me, 4, attack strength of 8. So he wins. So I'm going to lose 1 skill and 2 stamina. This is not going very well. Okay, I think I'm going to have to consider using some luck if this next one doesn't go my way. Aha, that's a bit lower. So that's 8, 14 for the Envoy of Death. 6, 9 for me. 'Tis bad. 'Tis bad news. I mean, it reduces the amount of damage you're receiving by 1, but it's not going to affect this gradual attrition of my skill. Alright, let's roll for the Envoy of Death. That's low, that's my best chance, isn't it? So that's 11 in total. 4, 5, 6, 7. And I've got 10. I am screwed, aren't I? I am screwed. Brutal. Alright, and oh yeah, and of course, going down to 7. I don't even want to work out what I have to roll in order to beat him now. It's monumental. So 6, So that's a total of 14 for him. So I think I'd have to roll 12 in order to draw with him. Fine. 5 stamina. I think I'm done for. 6, 7, 8. So that's 16. This is the attack roll of the Envoy of Death. I'm going a bit quickly now because I'm kind of annoyed. And that's my roll. That's my roll. There we go. So I'm down to, I guess, 0 skill. I don't know if you can go down to 0 skill, but there you go. That's where I'm at. 3 stamina. And that's his attack roll. That's mine. Okay, so that beats me. So, I mean, at this point, 8. So if he rolls a couple of 1s, I might stand a chance. So 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so that's an attack strength of 13. And my maximum is 12. So that is the end. Well, that happened very suddenly. That happened very suddenly. There you go. Talisman of Death. I was warned these books can be a little bit brutal. I mean, it's a fun world and I definitely enjoyed going through it, but man, you definitely have to play a few times to sort of learn the ropes. I'll play again, but obviously I won't record it again. I don't think you need to be subjected to that a further time. Did you enjoy this playthrough? Let me know in the comments. Would you like to see another adventure game book playthrough? I've got a couple more. I've got the Citadel of Chaos, I've got Scorpion Swamp, and I've got House of Hell. So if you enjoyed that adventure and you want to see more just like it, please do hit the subscribe button and the bell and notification icon. I have been the Lone Adventurer. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye for now.